Hello everyone and welcome to another video. I know this one is a long time coming from the last video I've made, but I've been enjoying the Horus Heresy 2.0 game since it's released, and there was many other YouTubers making content about the game that was in the niche of my content, so I didn't feel like making any videos. Now that the people are coming back from their hype of the Horus Heresy, and a new core for new people is made for the Horus Heresy, I felt like making another video. Also, there's a very interesting topic to talk about, and that is the Mystery Army release in the winter for the Horus Heresy. So now, making my point for the Sisters of Silence army, there are many unit entries in the Sisters of Silence army that never had any models in the Heresy range so far. And we know that since the launch of Heresy 2.0, GW has a strict no model, no rules policy. So why would they make rules for so many different units when they don't plan to release models for it anytime soon? Doesn't make any sense, right? Now, there might be an argument that the Sisters of Silence are such a fringe army that they don't warrant a full plastic release. Yes, we know the Mechanicum or maybe the Legio Custodes probably are the second most played armies. Both releases could bleed into 40k easily, but I want to say that's also true for the Sisters of Silence. Mechanicum has a couple of units with options that are in the data cards that aren't available as models, except the Arlatax, which has rules but no model, but most of the armies released in Resin already, so they don't need an army release as bad as the Sisters of Silence, other than the cost effectiveness and easier to work with models. Believe me, I have spent the last week building automata for my game when I played Mechanicum for the first time, and the resin cables made me want to quit building the Mechanicum army so bad. It's horrible. Sometimes they come as just straight cables that you have to bend, or you have the ammunition feed for the Thanatar arms, which are so thick that you need a lot of heat to even make them pliable and bendable, and that's already horrible. I don't want to reminisce on that, or I don't even want to think about that again. It's horrible. I know Mechanicum players. I know why you want to have a plastic army. The Legio Custodes have most of their core choices available in plastic, with only the vehicles and dreads being available in resin. But that's pretty much the status that the Marines held for a long time in the Heresy. But the resin models are also much easier to assemble than the Mechanicum ones, so I think it's less likely for them to be the Mystery Army release, because I think the Custodes still sell very well. They are a popular army in Warhammer 40k. Buying a Custodes tank for 100 euros is very much cost effective for Warhammer 40k, and even for Horus Heresy, because they are quite expensive in points cost. So I don't think that warrants a release for the Custodes, even though I don't want to say I'm like a Custodes player, a big Custodes player. I've started the Custodes army, I've played a couple of games with the Custodes. They are an awesome army, but I don't think that the situation they are in is particularly bad, because all of the bendy spears are either upgrade kits or they are in plastic, so they are bendy. Makes sense, right? Don't see the Custodes releasing as a winter army. Maybe I'm wrong at the end of the year and they release the Custodes, but I think that's highly unlikely. The next army that has a good chance to be released for the Horus Heresy is the Soul Auxilia. They have their range made for Legions Imperialis, and now if you know a little bit about GW's production, you know they recently changed from hand sculpting minis to CAD, computer aided design, sculpting. That means they are likely sculpted solar auxiliary units that have been scaled down to be cast as Legions Imperialis models. Now, this is a little bit more detailed, I think, because when Fafnir Run and Dominion Zephon were released before the Horus Heresy launched, so we are doing a little history tangent here, Horus Heresy release history tangent, they had Fafnir Run wearing Mark III armor, a breacher shield, and we had Dominion Zephon being a jump marine in Mark VI, right? And I'm a big believer of reusing assets because in engineering, the subject I study, there's also a lot of asset reuse. Why would you sculpt a part of a machine that you are going to reuse in 100 different machines every time when you have the asset ready there? That's why the Mark VI Marines for the Horus Heresy, for the plastic kit, actually make sense. Either they've made the Mark VI Marine already, and then they made Dominion Zephon on the basis of a Mark VI Marine, or the other way around, they made Dominion Zephon and then made the Mark VI Marine. More likely is they made the Mark VI Marines and then they made Zephon, because Zephon is just a small part of the army, right? A small part of the Horus Heresy range, and the Mark VI Marines pretty much is the standard tactical marine. And for Fafnir Run, they have made the Mark III armor with the breacher shield, so I think, no, we won't get Resin breacher shield upgrades. We already have a breacher shield in plastic, so I think there will be an upgrade. And they made him with a Mark III helmet on his breacher shield that has the spike on top. And when you see the how should I say it? Is it a teaser picture of the new Mark III Marines? You see that the new Mark III Marines that are set to be released in autumn with the Armor Mark upgrade, they have also a little spike on their head. So you see here, there's a couple of very good evidences, or evidence, there's good evidence that GW is reusing assets for their model releases and their CAD sculpting, which is actually smart. It saves them a lot of time. So I think that's why the Solar Auxilia have a very good chance to be a mystery army release for the Horus Heresy this winter, but they could also be released in plastic at another point in time. That was a long tangent. I hope it wasn't too long and it was understandable, the point I'm making. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The Solar Auxilia are already sculpted in CAD, in CAD, and they can easily be either upscaled with more details added, or they were downscaled to begin with. And they also have the new Sentinel Walker for the Solar Auxilia, which is an entirely new unit, which I also find pretty awesome. So yeah, I think the Solar Auxilia are pretty nice, and I would really enjoy them being a plastic army, because they would then be very much not only a plastic army, but an affordable army for a lot of people, including me. So the Sisters of Silence are an enticing prospect for an army. They are a low toughness, low strength, melee focused army that have extremely good gear and weapon skill. They would play very differently from the other armies, because these Caustodius are basically just an army of Space Marine captains, while the Solar Auxilia are a weaker shooting army, right? The Sisters of Silence are just a faction in Warhammer that doesn't get any love, even though they deserve it. They have such a cool standing within the Imperium. They are the premier weapon against the warp of the Emperor, and they have awesome tech in their arsenal. I think there's art of them in their with them having graph bikes, jet bikes, right? They have graph rhinos, which maybe has become the Carodon, the submarine. They have you know what I mean, the submarine, the black submarine, the flying one, that maybe has become that, and it would make it even cooler to face them or play as them. I think the Sisters of Silence are the Heresy army with the most enticing prospect to see on the battlefield, to play against them, to collect them, to paint them, because they are very different from Space Marine models. So are the Solo Auxilia and the Caustodius. This is very fair, but I think it is the Sisters of Silence because in the Liber Imperium, you maybe have the book, you maybe don't have it. They have a lot of units, and they never had so many units, and they all have no models. And I don't think that there will be an army released in Resin. I have had a conversation with someone on Twitter the other day that said they could only see them releasing the Sisters of Silence in Resin, but I don't think that is the case for the Horus Heresy. They said most of the core range will be in plastic. I think that includes all the armies. It doesn't make sense if you have a game that's primarily plastic and you have some units, some armies that use mostly resin. That just doesn't make any sense for the game, I think. My opinion. You could say, hey, Phaeton, you're wrong. You have this twisted. I'm happy to hear your opinions on this. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. If you have made it so far, thank you very much. The Discord is still going. My channel may be picking up again where I make more videos. I don't know. Could be. I don't want to make any promises. But yeah, if there's something interesting, I will drop my opinion in the YouTube video again. As I said, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Put your opinions about this topic in the comments so we can have a nice discussion. Thanks. Have a good one. Stay healthy. Keep the heresy train going. Bye bye.